tonight we're going to have a great time. We're going to be discussing some really dope topics. So we're glad that you could tune in with us tonight. One request that I have, simple request. I need you to share this. All right. So I'm going to ask you real quick just to share this. Share this because we're going to be talking about a lot of things tonight. And we want you to be a part of the discussion, right? So we ask that you share this with somebody, anybody, a friend, family, anybody. Share this because we're going to really get into it. And we want to know your opinion as well as we get into these topics, these hot topics. Welcome to the Hot Seat episode number 1. So I'm very glad and excited you guys could be a part of this. It's going to be real cool, real dope. So without further ado, let me introduce to you those who are going to be a part of this evening's discussion. I have to my left, Evangelist Gershom Doreen, right here. To my right, Mr. Elise himself. Then to my far right, the one, the only, Gael. So Gael. All right, listen. So we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna get into a lot of discussions. So I ask that you guys share. Right. This is episode 1 of the Hot Seat. We have other episodes coming up. I'll tell you more details about that later on. I'll tell you later. But for right now, I need you to share. I need you to share this with somebody, anybody, because we're going to get into it. We're going to get into some conversations, and we want to hear your opinion as well. All right? So, need you to share. Keep on sharing. Share it some more. And like us. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Subscribe so you get all the notifications for things that are happening at BYM. All right, guys. So, we're going to get right into it. Like I said, this is hot topics. This is the hot seat. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things tonight. One of the first things that we're going to be talking about is involving current events. It happened this week, actually, which is the verdict for Officer Derek Chauvin. So we're going to get into it. We're going to discuss it. We're going to give our opinions. We're going to share our thoughts and our ideas. And we're going to check out this video real quick so that we could get into this conversation about the verdict so that we could share our feelings and where we were, how we felt during the time of this. So we're going to share this quick video so that we could get into this conversation and really talk about it, right? And we want to hear your opinion as well. We want to hear how you feel. We want to talk about it. So without further delay, let's play this video real quick.
The families say the verdict is a turning point in history for America and justice has been done for their brother.
Today, we are able to breathe again.
Louise Minchin.
The headlines for you at 6 o'clock this morning. Former police officer Derek Chauvin is found guilty of the murder of George Floyd.
We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty.
The families say the verdict is a turning point in history for America and justice has been done for their brother.
Today, we are able to breathe again.
All right. So glad you guys were all able to see that video and all able to witness that. So just starting off, just asking you fellas, during the time of the verdict, where were you guys? Where were you guys when you guys heard this or saw it on the news? Gersh, we'll start off with you. Where were you when you heard the verdict?
All right. So I was actually heading home, but I didn't know if I was going to go home because keep in mind, it was the same day as the Stop and Shop shooter. So my wife didn't quite want me to go anywhere else but go straight home. So I was on a line with a friend of mine, and because it was between 4:30 and 5, at that time I'm normally out heading home because I have a long ride home. And then the friend let me know, oh, yeah, he was found guilty on all charges. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah.
Okay. Lisa, where were you at when Derek Chauvin verdict was made?
I was at the crib. I think I had just came out of class. I was chilling in my bed. I think I was on the phone with somebody then. I remember I seen on Instagram how they said I didn't know the verdict. They said the verdict, they came to a verdict. They just didn't say guilty or anything. I'm like, it's taking so long, like it's isn't it obvious? And then a few minutes after I seen he found him guilty on all charges, I'm like, finally. There wasn't, oh yes, or is like finally, because it took long enough.
Gael, what about you? Where were you at during the time of the verdict?
Uh, I was home. Yeah, I was I was at the crib. I had just actually finished up class, and I was on social media scrolling. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't even know that the trial was going on.
Okay, that's
So I
well,
was
that's
like, oh,
honest. Nah, for
yeah.
sure. I mean, a lot of people weren't aware as to when the trial was happening. They weren't too sure
Right,
like
right,
when the verdict was going to even happen or anything like
right.
that. But yeah, no, I mean, like everybody here, I was at work and I was actually checking in on my phone because they kept on saying, "All right, we're going to hear the verdict at 4:20, then 4:30, and then 4:45." I'm like, "All right, well, yeah, it was like 4:30, between 4:30 and 5. That's when they said it. And as I saw it, I was like, this leads to the very next question. So, what are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on the verdict and everything that happened, Elisa? We're gonna start with you, Elisa. What was your thoughts as soon as you saw that he was guilty? What did you
Uh,
what did you think?
as soon as I saw he was guilty, like I said before, I was like, finally, like I know a lot of people those like overwhelmed with joy, but it's like I guess when it comes to situations like these, I've become so numb to it because it's like I just not that I expect the worst, but it's like when what's supposed to happen happens, it's like I'm not gonna commend it. I'm gonna be like, this is how the justice system should work. And honestly, I feel like it's a shame that this week it's come to this because we had footage of what happened. It was full evidence
Right.
of all three charges that he committed. And it's the fact that not only it took 10 months for him to be convicted guilty, when the trial happened, we had to wait for them to give the verdict. They took because it's like they said, we have a verdict. I'm like, okay, so
Yeah,
what's the verdict?
yeah, yeah, no, but not to cut you off, but I think that was more so like I don't know. I guess it was like they were trying to figure it out, or they were telling because that's usually how it goes. Like when
Mhm.
when you're trying to come up with a verdict, it's usually how it goes. Like they're tallying it up, they're speaking to the jurors and stuff. But yeah, for the most part, yeah.
But yeah, overall, it's like like I'm happy this happened because we need justice for what happened over a year ago, and it's really tragic that what happened to George Floyd, and I'm really glad that he was convicted guilty. And this is a very sensitive topic, but I found some laughter in this because when he found out he was convicted in all three, you saw his face, like it's literally memeing it already. It's just
Yeah,
like he's like,
the
really,
internet is savage. Like as
very
soon
savage.
as soon as it happened and he found out he was guilty, I think who was it? I think it was Kevin on stage. Like he did a parody of him, like because he looked shocked. He was like
Yeah.
Y'all
he was like,
sending me
no,
to
yeah,
jail
for real.
for
Like
real?
I'm really going to jail. Okay, sure, all right. Like he was legit like shocked.
And it's like when I seen like his face, it's not even I seen it because I saw a meme. I seen the face. I'm like, that's a meme. Like that's automatic because it's like, and it just confused me as to like why do you look so shocked? But then again, it's like, I guess he had the thought, since he had white privilege and since he's a cop, they're gonna, not make him guilty on all three charges. Granted, they're not gonna give him as much years as we think he should, but it's the fact that he was still shocked. It still goes to show you that racism still exists for me to this, and it's not
That's
going away
interesting.
anytime soon. I feel like it's not going away ever really. It could be, tamed, but situations like these, it shows that it's never really gonna go away. And it's like that day, I feel like we took a step forward, but later on with the 16-year-old, we took 5 steps
Yeah, we're gonna
backwards.
get into that one. We're gonna get into that real soon. We're gonna get into that one real soon. Gael and then Gersh. So what is this? What are your thoughts on the verdict? How do you feel about the verdict?
Uh, I was actually surprised that they found him guilty because there are a lot of
True.
cases that are like George Floyd's where the cop doesn't get convicted and
Mm.
they even still have the same job. There are plenty of cases where cops kill, kids or, the wrong, they do the wrong thing and they're still getting rewarded, you
Right.
know?
No, I agree with you. I feel like a lot of people were like wait, for real? Like he's really
right.
he's really found guilty. So it took a lot of it was a shocker for a lot of people too, because it's like, okay, well, wow. Like a lot of people were taken back by it because they were like, okay, I guess this is real.
I guess I would say they did it because of like what was behind, because George Floyd started BLM. He started a lot of things, protests. So I guess it was right that this was the outcome. It was only right.
Got you. I got you on that one. Gersh, how do you what do you feel? What are your thoughts on the verdict?
Honestly, somewhat echo what Elise said. Not, I don't say I was numb, but regardless, if you had gotten not guilty, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, well, we pretty much used to this. Is what it is. Him being guilty didn't necessarily surprise me because I understood why they did it.
Mm.
I don't believe that they really wanted to convict him, call him guilty. I don't believe that. I believe the reason why they did it was because they did not want a war to ensue afterwards. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think they attempted a mistrial the day before and the judge denied it. I believe I could be wrong. I read somewhere about they were going for a mistrial and it was denied. So then they had to go redeliberate again. And once they redeliberate, they came to a verdict. They felt as if they chose not guilty, maybe they would have been afraid of what could have happened, of maybe more riots, more protests, whatever. I believe that's why it was done. That's why everyone's saying, "Oh, just justice." Eh, let's pause. Let's pause the brakes on that for a little bit. I'm not saying justice wasn't served. The intentions behind it, I question on numerous levels, honestly.
Yeah. No, definitely. I feel like, like you said, like as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, okay, because if it was not guilty, like if they come out and they say, okay, he's not guilty, he's walking away. I don't know what.
There'd be a curfew right now.
Yeah,
Like,
bro, it would not be normal for the next few weeks or so, because it would have been yeah, it would like you said, it would have been a curfew, it would have been the purge, like it would not have been normal. So, do you guys think that this case is going to begin to change the state of the country and the justice system and everything like that? Do you guys think that this case is going to, cause a difference, Gersh? What do you
It
think?
it's one or the other. It may actually cause a difference, or they may just give us this to appease us for now. And God forbid the next cop who does something like this, if they're even brought to trial, if they're convicted, who knows how that may go. I'm not holding my breath personally. Let's be honest.
What about you,
similar
Lisa?
to Grisham, I wouldn't be surprised if nothing really changed. I feel like it's just like you said, they only really he was convicted guilty because they didn't want this country to be in shambles. But honestly, I don't see them anything changing, and it's sad to say because I could be optimistic and be like, oh yes, everything's gonna change. They're gonna start reforming how they train these cops, or they're gonna give them more education. That's not. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. As a black man, I know better not to be too optimistic about situations like these. You have to be real about it. I mean, literally the other week they shot Dante. It's like you don't need a guilty verdict for stuff to change. That's why I'm thinking it's stuff like this is going to continue, and like we're gonna speak, later on, stuff like that continue later in the day. So it's like I'm not gonna. I wish that things would change, but knowing this country, like I haven't, like I'm not gonna sit here and say I've lived through everything. Like I'm still pretty young, but based off what I've experienced these past 19 years, change is something that is not likely to happen.
Gotcha. Gaio, what about you, man? Do you think that this is going to change the state of the country and how things are?
Hopefully, you know,
That's optimism.
yeah.
Yeah, that's optimism. It's good. All right. Well, so Lisa, you mentioned the 15-year-old girl. So for those who don't know, during this week, there was a 15-year-old girl who was shot and killed by a police officer, Makai Bryant. I hope I'm pronouncing her name. Micaiah Bryant? Micaiah Bryant. So I actually saw the video. I have my take on it and how I feel. Okay, so what happened was it was a young lady, according to the police cam video, it was a young lady. She had a knife in her hand, right? And there's another young lady. I guess they were fighting, or yeah, they were fighting. They were fighting. And so once the police officer came, he saw that she had a knife. Pulled out his gun. He shot her. Right. So a lot of people are on both sides of the fence. Like I've heard one side, I heard another side. We're all familiar with the story.
Yeah.
What side are you on? What side do you feel like you're on? Was the officer justified in what he did,
No. No.
or was he not? So, Gaio, we'll start with you. Was the officer justified in what he did, or was he not?
Absolutely not, because
Okay, let's get
he
into
didn't
it.
even try to de-escalate the situation.
Okay.
There, like, there's guidance counselors that could have dealt with that better, because fights happen often in schools, that have weapons, but
Is
yeah, no, I've been to high school where they scan you every morning and they make sure you don't come in with anything. It's a New York thing.
right, right.
It's
No,
normal.
I agree with you on that one. I agree with you on that one. So my thing is, guidance counselor as opposed to a cop. It's two different trainings, two different career paths, two different styles. So how do you think, like for a cop, how would you expect him to go? How would you have wanted him to approach the situation?
I mean, if he wanted to use his firearm,
Mhm.
the most he could have done is what? Let off a shot into the ground or something. That'll
Okay.
definitely catch people's attention.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know. That's just how I feel.
No, yeah, for sure. And that's what we
Could have
want to
been
know.
done.
Lisa, how you feel?
I've been waiting to talk about this.
Let's talk about it. Let's
I'm
talk about it.
on neither side because
Oh,
there's a lot of positives and negatives on both. I'm gonna start with the cop. He did not need to shoot her 4 times, let alone shoot her at all. He could have gladly, pulled out his taser and that would have stunned her. And if he really needed to shoot her, one bullet should have been enough to stop her. Feel me? Because it's like she I under there was no other way for him to stop her. Like he had to use like either a taser or a gun because she
Had
was
to be some
literally
type of force.
seconds away from stabbing the other lady in her head or her throat because she was going with lethal intent.
no, she
So
was-
he had to use force. 4 gunshots, that was not necessary. And this is another example of racism because it's like there's been other scenarios where like there's been white men who've wielded knives trying to attack somebody and the cop would not use a gun. He would either try to go out his
Yeah,
way
it'd be
to
like, sir,
talk
put
him
that weapon
down.
down. Sir, put it
Yes,
down.
or he would use his physical force, no firearms, just himself. So it's like me seeing this is people are saying, oh, this cop deserves a medal. He doesn't deserve nothing. First off, he did his job. He protected somebody else's life. I mean, granted, it wasn't the right way, but he was doing his job. He doesn't deserve his medal, especially the fact that he shot her 4 times. It was unnecessary. And it's like they say, and it's really sad because I see no justice for the girl because on her side, it's funny because she called the cops because apparently
Yeah.
she was going to get jumped.
Yeah.
And when he came onto the scene, unfortunately, she was the one seen with a knife. And this is I find it funny because it's like the way the video seemed is as soon as the cop came, that's when everybody want to start acting crazy. You could see another man, he literally penalty kicked a girl in the head.
Yeah, nah, yeah, I
She
saw that.
she got brain damage now.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's like with her, as soon as the cop pulls up on the scene, you're seen with a knife with lethal intent. I feel like with her, she should have known better. And I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, why are you saying that?" Da, da, da. Like I'm supporting I'm not supporting nobody. I'm supporting common sense because you're living in a world where you see stuff like George Floyd happening back then, Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner. So it's like, as a black woman, you should know if you call in the cops, you should stay inside the crib. See, I don't know what happened before that, but if you know the cops are coming and you're pulling out a knife, you should know what's gonna happen after that. Feel me? Because it's like what you expect. The color of your skin, they're gonna feel threatened by that. And it's like I really feel like for the cops, when it comes to black people, they're really intimidated by them. Because if it was a white person, he would really try to, talk his way out of it. But if he sees this color and he sees somebody acting aggressively, they have the natural intent to kill on the spot. So it's like I feel like both sides are wrong, especially hers, because I feel like she really should have known better, especially since she was the one that called the cops. Because it's like, for me, what do you think was gonna happen?
Right.
And I'm not saying that to be insensitive. I'm
I don't-
saying that
No,
to be
no, it's
real.
I
not.
don't
Like,
think
it's not
she
sensitive.
thought that she was gonna die that day. Though.
but it's like bro, why would you pull out a knife, especially when you call the cops? Like, if people are coming to your crib to
If you
come
think
jump
about
you,
it, technically, is that not self defense though?
Hmm?
Think about it. Wasn't self defense.
Well,
Bro,
you got to look at it. When a cop comes on the scene, it didn't look like self defense at
exactly.
all.
That's the first. The
Like
first.
from the body cam, it was
Nah,
like
yeah,
she
you're
had her
right.
knife. She had the knife out and was like
Seconds away.
so like she was she could have killed the girl. She could have killed. She
That's
could
what I'm
legit
saying.
killed the girl. So from the cops' point of view, and I actually heard an audio recording from the neighbor who was watching. He was like, "Yo, that cop had literally 2 seconds to think about what he was
Mhm.
going to do. Like he could either save the girl or like he had 2 seconds. So he really had to think like that. So it was just like he didn't really have much time to see well who's defending who because at the time it looked like Sis was about to
4 bullets is beastie though. I ain't gonna lie.
It is.
4
It
bullets.
was
That's
yeah.
not necessary.
Well, yeah, we gonna get into that portion too. But Gersh, we just want to hear your side, your perspective on it.
Honestly, I didn't see the video. I did not want to watch it. I think we've seen enough of those between Dante Wright and honestly, but from what I'm gathering from what everybody is saying, it appears as if this is very people are very divided on this one. People are kind of on both sides.
There's no
There's
one
really
side of this one.
there's
Yeah.
no uniformity
Unlike
in
with
terms
George
of
Floyd and everything else,
and
this is like
there's no in terms of okay whose thing it. Some people saying she kind of brought this upon herself. Other people saying no, the cop could have done a little bit better. This whole thing was just a mess from Jump Street. So honestly, I feel bad if this does go to trial. I kind of do feel bad for those jurors because this one may be a little bit tougher to thing. Being I didn't really see it, I don't really have much to say on matter. Being I didn't really see the video. It's just unfortunate. Once again, 16-year-old girl. Once again, her life was taken in such a tragic manner. Unfortunately, so
yeah, no, I agree. Like it's a tough thing, like to see another black person, a black female, die. Like that is nothing like nobody's happy about that. That doesn't feel good. As a black man, that doesn't feel good at all. So one thing like the 4 shots, right? So a lot of people are like, why didn't you aim at her leg? Like, why didn't you like you said, you like fire one off in the air.
yeah.
So a cop is trained. A cop is trained once they pull out their gun, they're trained to take the suspect down. So once they see that, okay, that person is a threat to somebody, they're trained to take that person down. So it's like if let's say he fired off one and then she got shot, she was just down, but she could still get up. Like some people react differently to getting shot, and she could have very well got up.
Scarface.
Yeah, 50 got shot 9 times. Nah, but it's different people get they it's different, especially when you get tased too. Some people it doesn't have no reaction
Some
to
people
them.
still keep going.
Some people still keep going.
Sheer willpower.
So when you see like sis was coming at her like this, like as a cop, you train to protect and serve, and you're like, yo, I gotta save her. I gotta figure it out. So for me, I was looking at it, I'm like, dang, that 4 shots, that's a lot.
Excessive.
It is. But then when you know how a cop is trained, you see like, okay, that might be the reason why. That's why he didn't aim for her leg. Yeah, her foot. They train to aim like in this section because it's wider. It's like so because God forbid she had a gun. God forbid she had a weapon that she could have used. So a lot of people are on the fence about it. A lot of people are on this side. A lot of people on that side. And it's tough. It's tough because a life was lost. But what would we have said if the other young lady died? Well, like, what would we say? Then that's when they would say, "Yo, the one time you could shoot somebody, that's when you don't shoot nobody. Come on, cop." Like they would have said mad things to him. Either way, he was getting roasted.
It's a tough situation.
He wasn't gonna win.
Because it's like I feel like with this, say you bring up a situation like Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, George Floyd, it's black and white, not in case of color, but like there's two sides. There's a good side and there's a bad side. But with this, it's like there's a lot of gray areas in it because it's like she's wrong for pulling out the knife. For me, but she was in danger before. He's wrong for shooting her, but he saved another person's life.
So
it's
can
like-
someone call this a black and white issue then?
Hmm?
Is this like a black and white racial issue?
Right.
Because
Is
that's the card that seems to be played a
I
lot.
feel like
that's
it's an
been
issue
played.
because she was black. I feel like it was an issue because
I get that.
If she was white, it would have just not a normal thing, but I don't think it would have gotten any clout.
Okay, so let's address that. In those scenarios, it's normally, and this is even crazier. It's normally when, like I say, for the white person, they're either approaching a cop or they're just acting belligerent. In this situation, this is somebody else attacking the life of someone else, and I guess the cop was attempting to save that life. That's why it's kind of hard. And like you stated, neighbor said he had two seconds to think. It's really hard for me to drop the race card on this one. I'm not saying that it's hard for me to drop the race card on this one, only due to the way that this situation. This was a situation not between cop and thing. It wasn't a cop that pulled somebody over or anything else. It was already a tense situation involving people who unfortunately happen to be black, and a life was taken because of that. I can say there's a lot of gray areas with this. So yeah, I don't know.
My thing is like I feel like the reason there's a plethora of reasons why like it is a race thing. One, because I actually feel bad because like I fell into the race trap because once like I found out I seen the video but not in slow-mo that she got shot, so I seen people posting just for her, so I was quick to post it too because I like to support, like for me. But then
It's trending.
and then the next day somebody told me, oh, this is a slowed down video, like they caught her in 4K, like she not getting no justice. So I look at it, I'm like, let me go on the gram real quick and take that down for me, because it's like I'm so serious. I didn't want to get caught laughing for me. And I seen comments because I was sent the video of like a little screenshot of her with the knife right there. I'm like, I can't do nothing like that's you caught for me. So and I looked at the comments, very toxic. So I went on Instagram, I took my post out because it's like in a world like this, you can't get caught being with a lack of education for me, because people will come for you crazy. And it's like, I feel like I don't blame people for being quick with the race card after what just happened with the trial. What happened last week with Dante, it's our human nature now to think it's a race thing for me. And it's like, that's what I'm saying. And he had a whole kid for me. And it's like, I feel like also why people were quick to have it be a race card is like, there's been other instances, like I said before, where a white man has been in the same situation as Bryant, and they didn't shoot him. So they talked him down.
So I got a question about that.
Those videos are on YouTube, bro. You find mad of those videos.
I got a question. I got a question about that. So, because a lot of people say, all right, let me see how I'm gonna word this. So a lot of people say if it was a white guy, if it was a white female, it wouldn't, the guy, officer probably wouldn't have shot or something like that. But if it was a black person, automatically be a threat. But I want to know, like, where did that image come from us? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. For example, if I go down the street and I see a white man walking with a black hoodie on, I'm not really intimidated. I'm not. But if I see a black man,
wait, depends. A black hoodie on?
Or a black hoodie
in
on.
the hood?
And he in Hollis, I'm not scared.
I'd be very
if he's in Hollis, I'm not scared.
If he's in Hollis,
I'm not scared.
If he's in Elmont,
how's he walking?
If he's in
Elmont, I'm
he's
scared.
walking regular. He's walking regular. Like if I see a white man with a hoodie, if I see a white man with a hoodie on, I'm not crossing the street. What?
Is Metallica on the hoodie or just regular black hoodie?
It's a Metallica hoodie. But if I'm in Hollis, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm in Hollis, I see one of my people in my own color. I don't know. Y'all can lie if y'all want to, but if I see somebody who's my own color, I'm gonna make sure my posture's straight, like, cause you never know. But what's up? We ain't run up on the kid.
So you're saying
one thing I like to do,
we can't wear hoodies, Daniel?
Nah, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like in terms of us, like where our image, like we find each other intimidating. Yes or no?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I see when I see things like this. I'm like, of course, a white guy or somebody of another race is gonna find us intimidating because we find each other intimidating.
For me, but like,
we're
not trained professionals though.
If a guy is wielding a sledgehammer in the middle of the street, that's pretty intimidating.
It's different. Nah, I'm talking about just regular attire. If a dude just regular attire. But go ahead, Lisa.
But listen, like I understand that. Like, I'm not gonna lie. There's been times, I've seen a black man, walk with a hoodie behind me, and I would act like I'm on the phone, so I got, an alibi for me. But it's like we not trained professionals for me, and that's the thing. That needs to be addressed with the police. They need better training in situations like these.
They don't need better training. They're trained for this.
That's the thing.
They are trained. Do you know how long police
What's
academy
better
is? It
training
ain't.
to you though?
Police
Like,
academy is not like
Isn't it like 90 days?
It's not DoorDash training, bro. Like these people, they're trained for a couple. They're trained for a minute, and you don't graduate just for the sake of you win. You have to complete everything. So they're trained just fine.
Yeah.
What it is this matter of this whole race situation, and I have my own theory on this, but it's really conspiracy theory.
I love some conspiracy theory. Let me
So I
hear it,
really
Let's get into
okay. Here's my
it.
thing. If you see the movie V for Vendetta, you'll understand where my mind is.
Yeah, I see that.
The basically one of the premises of that movie is the power of the media. The way the media manipulated. Okay, so in the beginning, if you haven't seen the movie, I'm gonna spoil it. It's really old, so I don't see whether you haven't seen it yet. In the beginning, the protagonist V, he blew up a statue. The next day, the media says, "Oh yeah, they demolition finally tore down this building. They've been working on construction with it," which is a complete lie. And then his whole thing was taking down whomever was in power, because the way they got in power, everything did was intentional. They intentionally put the disease in the water. They intentionally killed a gang of kids. And once he was elected, they dropped a cure. No shade. So this is weird, guys. It's weird. I find it to be very weird. A year ago, George Floyd happens. So a year later, these cops still don't understand, don't just shoot everyone all willy-nilly. They don't get it. So there may be some intentionality, I don't know if that's even a word, here going on. I'm just gonna stop right there. I ain't gonna go.
No, I mean, get into it, because honestly,
because you got this, and once this happens, this incites people, this incites us, and then becomes black. Like being that Debbie's wearing it, Maverick City, they posted something on George Floyd, and I read those comments. Lindsay, what? Those comments were crazy.
It's not a safe place to be.
Maverick City, a Christian, well-known Christian group, which, unlike Hillsong and Bethel, is a good amount of Negroes on there. So I don't quite know what they expected. There's more blacks than the other groups. There were a good amount of blacks people on there. So when they posted the post on George Floyd, the comments were, oh, wow.
Yikes.
But that's the thing. I question, does the media, what media push this intentionally to incite something? Which is the reason why, I'm sorry, it doesn't move me. I know how y'all operate. I get it. Y'all need something where they're being distracted from something, they do something behind the scenes, they do nothing about because we're so focused on this and that. No, I'm sorry.
Dang, man. Because that is true. I think like the media plays a huge part in it. I believe like once they get on a story, like it makes us focus on that. They drag it out, and you really look at it and you're like, this ain't really much of a story. Like it's like this stuff happening elsewhere that really need our attention. But I definitely get what you're saying on that part. In terms of with the media and how it impacts how we view things. I don't know how y'all feel about that.
Yeah, I really feel like, especially delving into those comments, that's why whenever I see posts like this, especially on the Shade Room or Spiritual Word, I try.
Hold on.
No, I can't.
There
I
is
have to put the air
nothing
quotes.
spiritual about the spiritual world. I don't know what that page
not.
is. There is nothing spiritual about them.
Shout out to Spiritual World.
It's confusing. Shout out to y'all.
Somebody
but
said
yeah.
it's the Shade Room for church.
Basically, that's what it
the
sounds
perfect
like. Basically,
and it's like I look at the comments and I just look at what people are saying. It's like we speak to each other as if we're not human beings about situations like these. And it's like, we want compassion, we want the right energy to be put about stuff like this. But when we're attacking each other, nothing's happening. That's why I feel like for a black man or a black woman, our worst enemy is not the white man or the white woman, it's ourselves. Because I feel like we get so caught up in trying to fight for things like these, but because somebody doesn't agree with what you exactly think about, that's your enemy right now. And it's like, listen, we want the same goal. We might not think about our goals the same exact way, but at the end of the day, we're trying to reach the finish line. For me, so it's like when I see people attacking each other in the comments for stuff like this, it's like spiritual world. This is why I'm numb to situations like these, because it's like nothing is getting done.
Yikes!
For me, so that's how I see it.
Gael, what do you feel about the media?
Media is crazy.
Well put, sir. Well put. Very well put. No, for sure. I mean, I do feel like the media plays a large role in the majority of things. Like everything we look into, everything we trying to get into, everything like it plays a huge role in that. And I just think we just, like you said, we need to be mindful about what's on the media and if we're really being drawn into it as much as we should be. All right. No, I mean, that was great. That was great. That was, you know what I mean? That's good convo, guys. But before we continue, I do want to go into some quick announcements before we get into our next topic. And our next topic is going to be hot. You hear me? It's going to be hot. Turn down the stove, it's hot. All right, listen. So we're going to get into our announcements really, really quick. So remember I told you this is the hot seat. This is episode 1 of the hot seat. And we're here with the fellas, right? So episode 1 here with the fellas. Episode 2 is coming out in 2 weeks. And it's going to be with the ladies. So ladies are going to be here in the hot seat, answering and discussing questions and all that. You don't want to miss it. You do not want to miss it. I promise you, you don't want to miss it. So get ready for that, because the hot seat will be happening in 2 weeks. 2 weeks with the ladies. CT is looking for members, and this is not just for those who enjoy taking pictures. CT does so much more. So if you are interested, sign up for CT. Hit them up on their Gmail. Listen, they're looking for members. If you are interested and you have a passion for media, hit up CT. Find out more, because they got that info for you, and you could help out our church and bring media up in our church. Definitely tune in, definitely ask more questions about it. And lastly, this last announcement: Youth Anniversary 2021 is happening this year. It's happening this year. I hope y'all are ready. It's happening this year, this June. So get ready. More details to come as time progresses. We just want to make sure that y'all have it. You're out there and y'all know Youth Anniversary is happening this year, 2021. Get ready for that. All right. So that's all the announcements. Let's get into this next topic. Now, this next topic, man, bro, this next topic right here. Listen, let's show the first video. We getting into it. We are getting into it. Movie. I hope y'all are ready for this one, because it's gonna be. Listen, and listen, guys. Share your honest opinion. Let's get into it. Video. Go ahead.
Business. The guy is either like, hey, can I come join in on you on that business? And I'm learning that maybe I need a high value man.
What kind of men are you dating?
I try to give guys that's not on my level a chance.
What do you mean on your level?
That's making 6 figures or more. I honestly want a 6-figure guy.
Okay, why do you need a man making 6 figures?
Because I'm finding out that the guys that I date it's not working out.
What does that have to do with money?
Because I feel like I need a guy that I can respect and admire, and I'm ambition, and I want a guy that has that drive too.
Man, but they don't want those.
Can I ask you a question?
Did you hear what I said?
Yes.
Why is that so? Okay, go ahead.
Why is it so?
Go ahead. And you yourself have said that
women tend not to get high earning men. They tend to get average men.
All right. So if y'all have been living under a rock,
The Godfather.
y'all know who that guy is.
The Godfather
That's
himself.
The GOAT right there.
The Godfather himself.
Kevin Samuels, who is in a relationship. He's an image consultant, rather.
Yeah.
He's an image consultant, and what he does is on his page is he really a lot of his content is him speaking with women concerning relationships and things of that nature. So
He started off with men first.
Yeah,
but
he
when
did.
he was doing with men, he wasn't hot.
Yeah.
He got hot. He wasn't as hot as he is now.
Yeah, no.
It's after he got big, then we discovered the one with the men, basically. But as big as he is now, he wasn't as big.
So I'm gonna ask y'all, how do y'all feel about Kevin Samuels' viral videos? How do y'all feel? Guy, we're gonna start with you. How do you feel about Kevin Samuels' viral videos?
Don't get canceled, guy.
Yo, man, listen, ladies.
I'm gonna try not to say the wrong.
Yeah,
thing.
no,
No.
ladies.
No. Search on your mind. Search your mind.
Yeah, no. This is
They don't pay. They don't pay your bills.
Cancel culture is a real thing, by the way.
It's a real thing. Hashtag. Go ahead, Guy. Do you think?
I mean, I feel like what he's saying definitely has some truth to it. Like, you don't have to always find somebody on your level, because a lot of times that's not what you need. That's what you think you need, but it's not what you need for real. And what she says, I didn't really pick up a lot.
She says she basically needs a six figure man.
And a point that he made is 6-figure men aren't looking for her. Because hey, he said on her best day she's a 5.
They coming for you in the comments right now.
Yo, the comments is
right now.
They coming in the comment. Let me see.
The thoughts of Gael does not represent the beliefs of DY and British ministers.
Okay, Kevin. No, that's a fact. No, you're right. Kevin.
No, you're right. You're right.
Kevin Samuels said it. Definitely.
No, but I'm not to cut you off, but but he says that he due to his job. He says if you go into the world of modeling, that's what they do. They rate you.
Yeah.
You have to look a certain way for them to hire you. If you don't look that certain way, you're not getting hired.
Yeah.
The rating system is not anything new. He didn't create it. It's been around for years. So
and he's an image consultant. So that's literally like what he specializes in. If he sees somebody walk into a room, off of that, he could say, okay, what rate are you? Okay, you're 4, you're 8, you're etc. All right,
no matter how much is in your pocket, anyways. It's what they see is what matters.
Right. Lisa, how you feel about Kevin Samuels' viral videos?
I feel like he's a very good comedian. I know that's not his point, but like
Nah,
it's just hilarious to not only him but the woman herself. It's like even how the way she's speaking, I just already know it's like it's ridiculous for me. Feel me like it's like she knows what she's saying is whack, but she's trying her best to support it. Feel me? And you can hear it in her tone. And
she's like, but like it's that for me. It's like, but
honestly, it's like he's just doing his job. Like he's being truthful. Like that's what he needs to do. And the 6-figure men, they're not looking for stories like that. And it's the fact that there's a lot of females like her out there. For me,
she already got a kid.
Feel me? And it's like
we're gonna get into that portion. We're gonna get into that portion in a bit.
It's like, I feel like if you so quick to be like you want a 6-figure man, you're not looking for love. You're looking for support. Like for me, and it's like if you're gonna go into find a man based on money, you go find him. I'm not sure it's gonna last too long, but if
that's your only focus,
that's what I'm saying. So it's like when females say stuff like that, oh, I need a 6-figure man, especially when they not matching that. I just find it hilarious for me because you don't have to match that, but it's like you going so hard to like you need a 6-figure man. Right. You need to match the 6 figures that he's putting on the table. It's like I heard this before. It's like, see, he's bringing the spaghetti and the sauce, but no, he's bringing the spaghetti, but are you bringing the sauce? For me, that's how you could look at it because it's like
she bring the meatballs.
I don't get it, and they be so quick to raise in the comments. Oh yes, sis, yes, queen. I can't. That's all I got to say.
Gersh, how you feel about Kevin Samuels?
Well, the Godfather.
Godfather.
Okay. There's a lot to unpack here. Now, number one, so the reason why it's somewhat easy. No, I'm not gonna say that.
Say it.
No,
Say it, bro. I'm not gonna say it. No.
I'm not gonna say it. I mean, I say it later. So people, that gets the only issue that everyone agrees with him sometimes is his delivery, the way he delivers his message. That's the problem. What people have to understand.
Wait, hold on. What's the problem?
His delivery. No, the way he says what he says. His delivery. But the thing, what everyone seems to forget, he's what, 51 years old?
Yeah, he could say
that's how that generation talk. That's how they
keeping it in the
speak.
stack.
That's how they speak with brute honesty. That's how they say it. They say what it is. They don't care about your feelings or whatever. The man is a grown man. They don't talk about, they don't really, not here to coddle you or cater to your feelings. They speak honestly. I understand sometimes maybe you're emotional, but if you get past how what he says make you feel and listen to what he's saying, there's truth to the things that he says. He's been here for a lot of decades. He's experienced, so he's aware of what he's saying. Now, I don't agree with everything that he said. There's certain things he says, I'm like, oh no, I wouldn't go there with you. But for the most part, I do believe he is trying to kind of open everyone's eyes. Now, about the whole six figures thing, I don't know if we're going to get into that conversation. If we are, he doesn't even say if one wants six-figure man for us to have six figures.
Right.
He's saying if you want a high-value man, can you support him? Can you support him? How do you support a high-value man? Well, obviously, if you're not going to be working, can you cook? Can you cook? Clean. Make sure the house is good. Make sure the kids are good and everything else for when he gets home. The issue is the woman's generation, they call that slavery.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm done.
Listen, I'm gonna read off what's in the comments. So Sarah Doreen says, wow. Love for God says exactly. And Emmanuel Lajeunesse, she says, hey, God is with us. So she says, talk that talkie. So she was agreeing with the statement that you said.
Not getting canceled today.
Not getting canceled, bro. You're not gonna be a hashtag. Yes. So my thing with Kevin Samuels, like you said, Gersh, I feel like he's talking like for real. Like he's really giving it up the way it should be. But yeah, it's his approach. But I mean, you can never question. Yeah, you can never question. Well, what did he mean by that? Like, no, you could leave. Oh, you could leave from that conversation knowing exactly what he means and exactly what you need to do to get your life in order. He keeps it brutally honest.
And it's like, also, I feel like his delivery, yes, it could be brutally honest, but it's like, he's not under a rock. Like, he's very known for how he speaks. So it's like, if you're gonna go to him for advice, you have to be prepared to have that barrier around you to
they go knowing the timing he's on.
That's what I'm saying.
And like, I don't understand. They're literally jumping in the lines then expecting to not get.
Yes. Hold on. Let's get in the comment section. Let's get in the comment section. He doesn't. So Just Val says he doesn't use the same approach on himself, who is a divorcee, and he claims he is a high-valued man. She says contradicting. What do you think?
Who said that?
Just Val.
Because he's divorced, he's not a high-value man?
I mean, the fact that what she's saying is he claims he's a high, he's telling these young ladies about high-value men, but he himself, like, he's a divorcee. Like, he's not married. Like, their goal is being married, but he's not married. So how is he telling them what it takes to be high-valued when you...
What he's telling them, being the fact that he is an image consultant and he's been in corporate business, he knows what high-value men want because he works with them. That's what he does. He's basically, because his main issue is there are women, they want men, but they don't know what the men want. All they care about is what they want. So what he's doing is he's basically explaining, okay, you want a high-value man? This is what a high-value man wants. This is how he operates. He most likely will not marry a woman with a child because he wants his own legacy. He's not going to take care of another man's child. He wants his own legacy. A high-value man wants this and that. He's basically trying to, for them who wants high-value men, try to explain to them, okay, this is what you want? Well, this how they operate. Do you check off these boxes? That's pretty much what it is. Now, him being divorced, I mean, Steve Harvey was divorced numerous times, and he still came out with Think Like a Man. That was a bestseller.
So ate it up.
and they ate it up. So and we don't know reason for divorce also. So
that's true. That's true. So Sarah Devine has wrote this is your wife. All right. So what about the men who want 6-figure women? What about the men who want 6-figure women?
they get the same energy from it.
Yeah, they do. They do.
They get the same energy.
Yo, what I appreciate about him is the fact that he like keeps it like for men. He has that. I don't think Kevin Samuels is Christian. Based on his,
he don't give me that vibe.
He talks about how he was a president of the single ministry, and whatnot. But I don't know where he stands currently because he be on live on Sundays. So I don't think he was a church. Honestly,
he be wailing. But I don't know where his stance is in terms of with Christianity. But his principles are like biblical principles in terms of how he sees a man should be and how he sees a woman should be. It's
some of his principles, not all of them.
What you mean?
Some of his principles, not all of them.
Like what?
Some of the principles he has are really anti-Christ, but we get that.
No, what's wrong?
Okay, I remember there was one woman. She was saying how she wants to be celibate, and he basically told her,
"Oh yeah,
listen, man, no, you're at this age, just give it up. We have no reason to hold it back." And I was like, "Oof."
I do remember him having that type of dialogue, but in terms of when they come together,
a reason behind like why he said that? He had
what?
A reason behind why he said that?
So,
like she was a bit older. Basically, he's basically saying you really have no reason to hold out because look at your age. If you want a man or whatever, there's no reason for you to be holding on like you're young anymore, anything of that sort. So yeah.
But wait, she wants a husband, though, right?
Basically, yeah.
She can find a husband being celibate.
Yeah, absolutely.
She can,
but
going to him about what for that kind of advice?
Yeah, he
isn't the best.
This is a worldly aspect you hearing it from, so it's natural to hear stuff like that.
Yeah,
and he's not with the whole God chooses your mate thing.
Yeah,
he does not believe in that.
You know, that's why I said I didn't say overall. Hold on, wait, let me get this back. Just the principles. I'm not saying overall. I'm talking about just like in terms of how he sees the role in the household. It's like the man should be taking care of the household. I mean, taking care, like working, and the woman is that support. I'm talking about in terms of that. But in just the principle aspect, nothing more than that. Just the principles and how he sees the roles of the household and how they should be. I didn't say overall because he be wailing. He tells you if you with a dude, and how you gonna be with a dude for 4 months and you gonna let him da 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 da. So. Yeah, he be wilding with that. But I'm talking about in terms of the principles and in terms of how he says, yo, men, stop being lazy. Go like
I feel like men need that though.
Absolutely. Stop being lazy. You waiting for a high.
That's the thing. They get that energy. The men get the same energy that the women get. We were introduced to him with the women getting the energy. But if you watch his videos with actual men, he's pretty harsh.
So we got a comment in the comment section. From Deandra, and it says, "Do guys believe high-value men exist? Do you guys believe high-value men exist in the church?"
I knew she was going to say.
Ooh, it seems like this percentage of men are more secular. Is it possible to be both? Deandra, what you doing, man?
That's a great question.
All right, so I'll get to the first one. I'll get to the first portion.
That is such a Michelle Obama question. Shout out to you, Deandra. Real talk.
Deandra.
Real talk.
Okay, so the first portion of the question. Do you guys believe high-value men exist in the church? First, we got to define what a high-value man is. What's a high-value man?
Could I ask a question? Yeah. What does a high-value man in church look like to you, though? What does that look like to you?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Let's define what a high value man is. What's a high valued man? Lisa, what do you think in terms of how they describe it? What's a high valued man?
Based off of the interpretation I received, I guess a high value man is, I don't know how to put it into words, like a man who really he holds himself on a high pedestal, and I don't want to say he doesn't want to settle because you don't have to be a high value man to not want to settle. But it's like his level of like, basically he wants his woman to be up there with him in terms of his standard. And it's like a very high standard. And it's like stuff like baby mamas. I'm having a baby father, like, you know, for me not being able to support, like, you know, at the home, like stuff like that is an automatic, like, what you more call it, like deal breaker. For me, like I feel like he expects the most. Like the way I see it is like he does the most to bring himself to his standards, so he feels like she should do at least up to at least half of what he does. For me, that's how I see it. Like he takes nothing less from his woman.
Okay. Gaia, what's your definition of a high value man? And before we answer and get deep into this question, what's your definition of a high value man?
True say. All I can say is somebody like right with God. You know, he has that relationship with God. But in order for, I wouldn't really know how a woman would be able to see that though. I feel like she got to see that you got to have some sort of like you gotta have some sort of swagger.
You got some.
As well
you
as,
got some on you. Yeah.
You know, you gotta have some money.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Go ahead. Go ahead,
I mean,
bro.
You can't. You're not gonna be in church and you know, like, damn. I'm trying to say this the right way, for real.
Yeah. I feel you. I'll get into. So Gersh, what's your definition? We're gonna get back to you, Gael. Gersh, what's your definition of high value?
Honestly, I didn't know about this word until because of him.
Yeah.
So from my understanding, a high value man is basically a guy who's probably not just wealthy, but who holds very high position in society.
Yeah.
Either he's like a CEO, COO, or very a guy of a high standard in society.
Right.
That's why he doesn't really consider I think he said athletes, something like that. You don't really consider them high value due to the way that they get the money and how fast the money comes.
And it goes.
He's more talking about guys who legit work their way up to six figures.
Right.
So those are what you call high value man. A man who worked like 10, 15 years in position where he's gained CEO status, COO status, entrepreneur, and he's now in his mid 40s, whatnot. Now he's making six figures.
Right.
So somebody of that who's worked themselves to a different class in society, that's what he considers, and that's what I would also consider a high
in the
value
church.
man also.
In the church.
No.
Just
in general. Not just in church. Just in general.
Just in terms of his definition. So that's what I'm saying. So if we're using Kevin Samuel's definition of a high value man, so a high value man is, you know, you making six figures. You making six figures. You good in your career. You're solid in your career. You're educated.
You're running a good business.
You're running a good business, something like that. So if we're using Kevin Samuel, so those were our personal definitions. But if we're using Kevin Samuel's definition, let's answer this question using Kevin Samuel's definition, right? So based on his definition, a high value man is well off. You know, six figures. You up there in your job, whatever job you're doing, right? So do you guys believe high value men exist in the church? Do high value men exist in church?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I haven't seen one yet, but I feel like
so do they exist in the church?
I mean, I mean, like they do, but you gotta like you gotta flaunt it a little bit though.
Right.
That's what I was saying. And the thing is, most high value men don't really do that like that. I mean, I guess it depends. But since they don't exist in the church,
you wouldn't.
I don't know.
What I'm saying is like you wouldn't really know if somebody is of high value unless you know what. Like a woman, she would go off what his pockets looking like, and I'm just being honest. Yes, she's gonna go off what his pockets looking like.
I mean, okay. Listen, the comments gonna light up.
Monero gave a very good definition.
Okay. So hold on, Gaia. Let's read this definition. So Monero actually gave a definition here. A high value man is someone who is consistently working on improving his spirituality, finances, education, and so on.
A woman wouldn't know you're doing that though. She wouldn't know that you're doing that just off looking at you.
I feel like you get a type of vibe. See, this definition changes like everything. I feel like,
and it would have to be a vibe, bro. It's not something that you would see. It would have to be something that you feel, bro, from the man.
All right, so
a woman would have to feel that coming from the man.
So my question is, all right. So if we're using Kevin Samuel's definition, how many CEOs do we see in the church?
How many?
None.
I'm just saying, like, how many CEOs we see in the church?
I mean, talking about our church or other churches?
Just general.
Because that's a really broad question to ask. Because there are a lot of churches in this country.
Okay, there are a lot of churches in the country,
and there are churches in which the guys in churches are indeed very well off, depending on where you go, what state you're in, where that church is located, the community that church is surrounded by. Is that community a high income community, a low? It all depends. So you could answer yes to that question. You could answer no. But that's you're really going to base your answer based off of your experience.
So let's talk about our churches, our community, our Haitian American churches. That's the one. So let's not talk broad. Let's talk specific.
Honestly,
Yikes.
I
haven't seen one.
All right, now. Well, let's cut them.
I mean, they exist, but I like at least this. I don't know who said it. Yeah, I haven't met much.
But why do we?
Besides Daniel, of course.
Okay.
And if you are a high value man in our community,
doing a good job of hiding it. Doing a very good job of hiding it.
What, Gael? If you're a high value man in our community, what?
I'm just saying, careful.
Because
they gonna come for you, bro.
Okay.
They're gonna come for what you have.
All right. Because the question is it possible to do both? Is it possible to be a high value man, in society in terms of being a CEO and being, making six figures and being in the church?
It's possible. It's a question of, do you want to put in the work? Do you want to make it possible? But it's possible to juggle both. And now, so that depends on how much do you really think your work? Because some of these high value guys, they take the business like very serious. So they may not have time to be in church every Sunday. They may not have time to do certain church activities, but also depends on where they are in their faith. These questions are like really subjective. They're not really a one size fit all. Maybe there's some it works for, maybe there's some it doesn't work for. So it actually does depend. But I do believe it is possible.
For sure.
I believe so it's possible.
I think it's possible too. I think that that generation is coming. I think like the older generation was more so focused on serving in the church and making sure that they're here in the church and serving in the church. But I feel like millennials and down, I feel like they're learning that balance. Where they serve in the church, but they're also getting educated and doing well for themselves, but also in the church. Maggie B, hey Boko. So it says, do you think that a high value man cares to be with a high value woman? Ooh.
No, they don't.
Nah,
they really don't.
I don't think
they're not looking for a woman making six figures.
Yeah.
I mean, they won't reject her.
You're not looking. Yeah, it's
but
just not.
They're not
looking.
Like checking.
Let me see your pay stub.
Like, yeah, they're not checking.
But a woman that's making six figures, she's not going to be doing the same thing a woman that isn't making six figures. I feel like a woman that's making six figures won't have the time to cater to a man that has six figures as well.
That's the thing. If we're going by what
take care of what she got already, she got to build what she got.
That's the thing. If we're going by the way he defines it, what he wants is for someone to stay home and take care of the household. Yeah. A woman making six figures is not gonna give that up, unless she wants to. But these independent boss ladies, they worked hard to attain where they are in society. So therefore, they're not just gonna want to, for the sake of I'm not gonna leave for the sake of a man. They're not just gonna give all that up for the sake of him making six figures. She used to making her own money, doing whatever she wants with her money, to then give that up, not depend on him. Possibility of that is,
especially in this day
and age. Nah.
So we're gonna go into video 2. If you guys have video 2 up, we're gonna go into video 2. This is another portion of that same interview.
The same shorty?
Yeah, same one. So video.
Don't know any men on this level. You don't know where to go get them. You don't know what they want, but you're still saying, pick me. They don't want mid-30-year-old baby mamas. I'm trying to be polite, man, but they don't want those.
Can I ask you a question?
Did you hear what I said?
Yes.
Why is that so? Okay, go ahead.
Why is it so?
Go ahead.
And you
Why does he do it? Okay, so
it just sounds so bad.
It
hearing
just
it.
sounds
It just
so
sounds
harsh,
crazy.
man.
It sounds harsh.
It's an
He's not
unintentional
lying,
comment.
but it just sounds the way he says it. They don't want baby mamas. Like, it just sounds so crazy the way he says it.
what it's like, oh man. But what it is with, and that's why I said like, and that's why I'll say like Kevin Samuels is, though his approach is a little round, he is somebody that is needed because a lot of these women that come on his show, that's all they're looking for. They're looking for a 6-figure dude. I want a 6-figure dude. I want a 6-figure dude. And it's like he's trying to explain to them, okay, first off, he doesn't want you. But it's like, yo, like what else? What are you offering him? So you telling him he gotta already have a child that's not even that wasn't his responsibility. He didn't make it, and you gonna tell him, oh yeah, you gotta take care of that child and me. So he really is like he's keeping it real. So he's really needed. He's like Kevin Samuel is really needed. So the question is, do you think most men feel the same way Kevin Samuels feels?
I think that's why he's revered so much, because he's saying what we've been thinking for a long time. Excuse me, not we. What they've been thinking for a while.
No, you said we. That's how you feel.
No, he's saying what a lot of men have been thinking and probably wanted to say, but he's actually like verbalizing it in a way. So I think, I believe so.
What about you, Lisa?
Yeah, I definitely believe that there's a lot of men that agree with this, and I feel like social media proves it even more. He gets a lot of support from this, and it's like, and then I feel like it's common sense, because it's like you're not gonna want to deal with no baby mama drama, especially knowing baby mama drama can get very dangerous on the baby father's side. So it's like no high value man is gonna stoop to that level, and I don't mean to shame anybody that's in a situation like that, but he's basically stooping down a level or two to put himself in a situation he does not need to be in, especially if you're not going to have that much to offer in his situation.
And thing is, he's been in that position. He actually stated that. I believe he married someone with a child, and he said straight up, it didn't work for him.
It's difficult.
And not to mention, he's making good numbers. He stream 100K a night.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Yeah, he's
100K. When you do live, you're not gonna live 100K viewers a night. I think only TG does those numbers. I think
Kevin Samuels work with us. All right, Gaia, how do you feel? Do you think that most men feel the same way Kevin Samuels feels
about the baby mama?
Yeah, like everything he was
talking
about.
Yeah, everybody want I feel like every man would want their own seed. They don't really want to take care of next man.
Right. Yeah. Now, and like I said, I feel like his approach is a little tough, but he's bringing up some great points. So so he speaks a lot about okay, so we have a question. Okay, how do you want, the comment, how do you, this is from Debbie, shout out to Debbie, influential beauty, how do you want a high value woman but having sexual relations with everything but that? Oh my gosh.
It's a great question.
How do you want a high value woman but having sexual relations with everything but that? We're having sexual relations.
She knows what she's doing.
Like
she knows what she's doing.
That sounds like a question for real. That sounds like a sub.
That's a good question, because these guys can't access a high value woman. You know how hard it is to get to one?
Yeah, no.
You have to be in that circle.
Yeah, no.
You gotta be in that circle, and
a lot of them can't get.
And if you're a SoundCloud rapper, it's
gonna
look a little difficult for you to get into the high value woman circle. It's gonna be rather difficult.
And even if you are on a high pedestal, her guard is still very strong up, especially if she's independent. It's like a vibranium shield all around her. She you feel me? Like it's not easy. No. Even if you are a high value man, it's not easy to get into a high value woman's standards. And I feel like that's good. I feel like that's how it should be nowadays.
So
the only way is if like you're a security guard for a singer. That's probably your only chance and whatnot. There's a movie with that. I forgot the name. Forgot the name of the movie. She fell in love with her security guard. That's the only way. Like, if you're a bouncer for like a real well-known singer or something like that, then by all means, you definitely have a shot. But if not, then getting into that circle, I don't know.
Okay. So then we have all right. So we have this next question. So do you think women should lower their standards to get a man?
No, that's not what. No, I don't think it's a case of lowering your standards. It's a case of looking in the right place because you don't need a high value man to get what you want for me because it's like especially when you can't offer that it's not you're not lowering your standards because you're not getting a high value man. You don't it's not something you need. A high value man is something that you want. For me, so it's like I don't see them lowering their standards.
What is lowering your standards exactly? I mean,
So if you make if you're making if the young lady is making six figures, like should she lower her standards in terms of dating?
So her getting a guy making six figures is her lowering her standards?
I mean, hey,
that's confusing. So, okay, so what is it that you guys, what is it that they want exactly? Because that's what he says. You want to be married with children. You want a man who love and care for you, or do you want to be the power couple?
Yeah.
So it's like either or. You find a man who legit loves you, cares for you, wants to care for you, your future children, and everything else, and he may be the manager at Walgreens. Prayerfully, he gets a better job, a better paying job, or something like that. But that, in the essence of marriage, that's what marriage is.
That's all you need.
And you said you want marriage, but you're willing to neglect that because he's not making six figures. Then okay, then get a dog, I guess.
You guys feel any other way, or you guys agree?
I mean, he right. Like, I mean, if you're willing to do that, go ahead, but hurry up, because she's 35 and she's still looking.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
It's a certain point where you just gotta, all right, let me change a couple standards.
Right.
You know,
Right.
about somebody I love you. Like, don't.
But the thing is, it's not a reflection on her though. That's you lowering your standards. That's you probably just changing up your demands a bit. But it's not, when somebody lower your standard, it's when you're doing something less than what you're supposed to do as a person. That's what lowering your standard is.
Right.
But just because you decide to fall in love with somebody who's not making six figures and you guys may want to build, you marry him, you did not lower your standard.
Right. Okay. So, I don't know if you were gonna.
Oh, no, everything was.
Okay. I'm just okay. So let's get into that. So, we actually do have a question. From Joe to the Burt. What's the difference between standards and demands? Standards and demands.
Good question.
Good question. That's a good question.
I wanted to ask you that.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so a standard is, in terms of, like, the way I see it is like a standard is like, okay, inward. It's like who you are. It's your values. It's what you stand for. It's what's not changing. Like a Christian person, you're a believer. That's not changing. I hold my standards to that of a believer. A demand, or like I feel like that's a want. Like that's like something I want.
It's
like
the same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
he gotta have a 12-pack. He gotta
8 feet.
He gotta be light skinned. He gotta be wavy.
Has to have a lion tattoo on his chest.
The man could be, all right, I need you to reach here in terms of like what you got going on in your life.
Right.
Same thing for a standard. Is you gotta at least be here. Okay. You know, same thing.
You said need, right?
Huh?
That's the key. I feel like if it's a demand, you don't need it. You want that. And I feel like in the terms of standards and demands, a standard is what you need. A demand is what you want. Mm-hmm. Just because you want it doesn't mean you need it.
Yeah.
For me,
you're demanding it. You're like,
and these demands normally are, for the most part, they could be rather vain and just
shallow.
Shallow. Yeah, very shallow.
Super duper shallow. And guys and women do it.
Yeah,
so
we both have it.
Both have it. Like, you need her to be, 24, 34. She gotta have it. She gotta have a right. She gotta be thick. She has to have her own. Like, her hair gotta be, you know what I mean?
Natural.
Shout out to my ladies. Shout out to my ladies who, wearing them wigs. But it's like her hair gotta be natural, gotta be long, and nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, like they're preserving their hair and stuff like that. That's the style.
Yeah.
But guys are shallow and they don't know that. They're like, nah, I need to have real hair, et cetera, et cetera. But go ahead, bro.
And like as a man that got this, like I know what I want, in a woman, emotionally and physically. But I know the way this God works. I'm not gonna get everything I want.
It could be. Listen, you got a preference.
Yeah.
So we all have our preference.
Right.
Thing is, you may not get every single thing off your list of preferences.
Right.
And the problem is there are good men being overlooked, are being friend zoned, are being bro zoned because they're not meeting certain women and their preferences, and they could be really good husbands or whatnot.
I see.
That's their loss. It's the woman's loss.
Yikes. So I see. So just to go for that, I see a comment. Love for God says we don't have that many options with guys anyway.
That is true because you are outnumbered 1 to what 4?
Where are they in the church? 1 to 10.
There's more women.
1 to 10. Excuse me.
It's like
outnumbered 1 to 10.
We are.
You are right.
Numbered. We are outnumbered for sure.
We have more options than they do.
Yeah, it's true.
That's facts.
So I guess where their strife is like there's like, why are y'all still single and we like gotta wait on y'all? So that's the type of thing, because it's like, yo, like y'all got options, start picking, as opposed to just sitting around and just not doing it.
But we can't just pick all willy-nilly.
Well,
I want that one. You can't.
Hey, look. So influential beauty put, not everyone is called to be a spouse.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. I mean, yeah, but this majority are called to be a spouse.
That's tough, especially if you want a wife. And God say, yeah, that ain't the move. You dread.
I feel like to an extent, if you have enough, like a strong enough desire, I feel like it's in your call. Because I feel like the desire wouldn't be put in you overwhelmingly for God to be like, no, you're gonna be a eunuch. I don't think it's like that.
So I do agree. I do believe that. Yeah, there are some people who aren't called to be a spouse, but it's not
the majority that people be jacking.
It's a small number. It's like rare. It's a solid 6%. Like I don't know why y'all all
you have numbers for that.
I was going. Nah, it's a solid 6%, bro. It's like, come on, 94. Y'all need to stop playing.
Can I get the verse for that?
Huh?
Can I get the verse for that?
About the 6.
There's a 6%
Let me scroll it. This and that.
There's a 6% verse. Good luck.
Good luck
finding.
It's in the Message version. All right. So all right. So now that women have advanced in careers, should men change his role in the house? Now that women have advanced in careers, should a man change his role in the house? Gael, what you think?
I mean, no, because like what's tradition, like it works. Like it works,
All right, the women are typing. The women are typing.
It's on me. They coming for you, bro.
The women are typing. No, they're not coming for you, bro. I'm just saying,
bro.
But they typing.
Bro, say what's on your mind,
Say what's on your mind. Say what's on your mind, bro. They typing though, but.
You get canceled today, they forget you by tomorrow.
No, so I was saying, so now that women have advanced in careers, so now women are working more hours, they're making more. So now that they advance in their careers, should a man change his role in the house? Should he now, should the roles be switched? So she's working
where he's at home, and I mean, it's going to happen. I don't know if you know who Naomi. Like the tennis player,
Osaka, yeah.
Naomi. Oh, you talking about Serena Williams? No,
the girl that beat Serena Williams.
Osaka, Naomi Osaka.
She's a soul,
Shout out to Naomi. How you teach?
She has a boyfriend that's a rapper, and she's making way more than him. And for me, he tweeted, "Hey, I wouldn't mind staying at home looking after the kids." He can't help that she makes more than him.
I get what you're saying.
So that's what he has to do.
I get what you're saying. Absolutely, I get what you're saying.
That's just what it is. Like,
I get what you're saying. Yeah,
nothing wrong with that, but
that is a conversation between you and your spouse. It will always be that. Everyone's case is different. Everyone's situation is different. Me personally, I don't believe naturally that was the way it was meant to go.
Right.
The only reason why women even started working anyway was because of the fact that the men were out at war. So since men were at war during the mid 1900s, that's when the women began to get more integrated into the workforce.
Yeah, they used to go work in the factories and stuff.
Yeah, so the natural order to me, the man is the one who's responsible for working. Obviously, when you live in New York, unless unless you really making it or not, unfortunately, you both have to work to maintain the house and things like that. So due to where you live, but there's a possibility that the man can work and the woman can can take care of the house. That would, to me, that's the natural order. That's just to me. And you feel how you feel about it. Because I believe it was made like that for a reason, due to the fact that women, one, are way better at multitasking. I suck at it.
Yeah.
I can only focus on one thing at a time. So me personally, the idea, if she is high value and she meets a man or whatever, and if they can agree for him to stay home and she could take it, fine.
Yeah. I feel like there has to be an agreement, because you can't.
There has to be an agreement.
You can't be like, yo, babe, you gotta chill with work, and like you gotta start making a little less than me. Like,
how's that conversation happen? For sure, for sure. At least, how do you feel?
I feel like, just like Gresham said, it depends on the couple, because it's not gonna be the same for every couple. Like, if say like every couple in the world, there was a high value woman, she was making more money than the man. Not everybody's gonna have the same interpretation of who stays in the crib, who does this, because everybody's different. Everybody has different dynamics at the end of the day. We're not all built the same.
Right. And I think the way people look at it is like, okay, if he's staying home, like he's like a nanny now. So it's like men don't stay home. Men aren't.
It goes back to the natural order.
Right.
The natural order is the man is the one who works. So whenever you see something that, and please, we could talk about this society, old society's changing all they want. If that is the case, if you hear of a case of a man working and of a man staying home, a woman is working, that man is getting side-eyed. They're gonna look at him a little funny.
Yeah.
Because we may want to say the world's changing or other stuff. Something is actually ingrained in us. What's ingrained in us is a man's job to work. So yeah, we could say, times are changing, anything of that sort. The idea of a woman out there working hard and a man is staying inside the house, not working, not doing anything, that's gonna look crazy. I don't care how much times change, how much things flip. That's gonna look crazy to somebody. So at the end of the day, yeah, it is based on conversations where everyone just comes to agreement.
And it's like, the way I see it, it's like, yes, society may look at you, crazy, but at the end of the day, it's your marriage. Nobody else's opinion should matter, especially if you making that covenant with that one lady, with God. It's like, whatever you decide, that's automatic. It's like, nobody should have a say in it. That's how I see it.
Facts.
So we have a question from Rhodesha. Hey. So should women go back and not advance, just like women have shifted because of time? Shouldn't men shift also? So should women go back and not advance? And the follow-up is, just like women have shifted because of time. So just have women have shifted because, as Gershom was explaining, the times and men went to war, so the women had to shift and go over to work. So just like women have shifted because of time, shouldn't men shift also because of the time? So shouldn't men shift also and start to stay home because of the times? Shouldn't they shift it over?
That's it. If your marriage is like that, then you have no choice than to stay at the crib.
Yeah, I agree. Like if
you're the breadwinner in the family, you gotta go work.
Right. So what it is it just looks like Gersh mentioned, it's always gonna look crazy if a man is home and his wife is working. It's like that, men are made to work. Men are you're created to work. So you staying home while your wife is out working and she working all these hours and et cetera, you're always gonna look like, people are always gonna look at you like, what you doing? Like, you're not a man. Like, what you doing? You home?
Especially in our.
Oh yeah, in our community, you're gonna get the work. You're gonna get the work and a half. Like your wife, if your wife is going off to work and you at home, it's like, you look like a little bit less than what you're supposed to be doing. So we have another question that says, how do you feel about a woman who only wants to be a housewife? That's a beautiful thing.
If they could handle it, follow me.
It's not easy to
be
a
them.
housewife.
It's them. And not to mention that's a tough job.
It's not easy.
Cleaning a house, maintaining a house, kids. that is really,
It's
really
not easy.
tough. It's not just something that just haphazard. Oh, yeah, just a stay-at-home mom. No, that's a really tough job. Taking care of a house is a job. It's not like you don't have like a boss. You're not clocking in, clocking out, whatever. But it's literally a job.
So we have another comment here. It's gonna sound a little ebonics, but mad heads like to retain it's from Sleepy K. Mad heads like to retain the man working and women staying home because of the pressure from society. Too many people be fronting on social media. Okay, I mean, yeah,
That is true.
for sure. I mean,
Comment sections, bro. I'm telling you, the comment
Comment
sections.
sections.
I'm telling you, that's
Comment
where it all
sections be
comes
spicy.
from.
Crazy. Oh,
Like,
what
I
you
don't-
doing? Oh, you're not.
I don't know
working?
if y'all did I bring this up earlier? Like the game, how he posted.
I remember that.
Yeah, they was
somebody
going crazy.
somebody actually responded to that.
Wait, what?
The game is worth $25 million. You could do that. Basically, he was saying he does. Oh, as for me, I don't understand why you're working and your girl's working too. Blah blah blah. You should be the one paying all the bills, everything of that sort. Game. That's very easy for you to say. If you're making you're worth $25 million. You're making $12 million. What? Your wife's not gonna work. Your daughter ain't gonna work. Your granddaughter's not gonna. Ain't nobody in your lineage. Probably no female in your lineage is gonna be working because you're worth $25 million compared to a man who's making maybe $50,000 living in Queens or Brooklyn with rent as high as rent as y'all both may have to work. So saying
when I saw that, bro, I thought that post was like corny. Like he should know that everybody.
Yeah, like, and you got other people.
You're millionaire, bro.
You got
You're
men in
like-
the comments saying, "Oh, nah, that's not how it's supposed to be." Or you worth like a $25 million. Like you could say that. Some woman responded, "If you broke, just say that." It's comments like that. It just, I can't make this up.
If you broke, just say that.
Yes.
I guess.
If you're broke, just say that, bro. It's
$25 million. Who got
stuff like that?
That's 1% of people who make that kind of money.
Spicy, bro. I don't understand. So, go ahead. You about to say
It's
something?
stuff like that that puts pressure on the man to,
Basically,
be like
you have to take care of all the bills in the household.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of pressure. So then the question is, what is manhood from a biblical perspective? So,
Say it again.
what is manhood from a biblical perspective? Manhood from a biblical perspective. Who wants to take that off first? Or-
Gersh. One of
He
y'all.
is the evangelist.
Because I'm getting there. Like,
Getting there.
Get it?
Basically, man. Okay, are we talking single or married?
Yeah, I think,
or-
but I think in this instance, since we were talking about marriage, being together with your wife.
Well, they basically as a 3 P's: priest, provider, protector.
Mm.
Basically, your job to priest over your household, protect your family, and to provide. The Bible says if a man don't work, he does not deserve to eat. That's is simple. To provide for your family, to protect your household. God forbid something going on in your crib, you're the one who's gonna be held responsible for it. Anything goes on, who's the man of the house? You are. Those kind of things it falls on you. So biblically, yeah, the man is the one to protect, provide, and priest over his home, basically.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think like the Bible describes how a husband should be. Husband love your wife just as Christ
loves the
loved the church. And that is like and I always say this, that is a very like steep thing because as a husband, Christ loving the church, and it says, and he gave his life up for the church. So loving your wife just as Christ loved the church don't always make Jesus happy. The church messes up. The church gets, all these things. So, but the husband is supposed to take on the role of Christ and love on his wife, take care of his wife, give his life up for his wife in that sense where it's like, yo, you are serving her, you are loving her, you're doing, you're taking the example that Christ did on this earth and you're using it in your marriage. So it really means humbling yourself. It really means, showing the love of Christ in your marriage. It's not an easy thing. You gotta humble yourself. You gotta, die to self, but it's what is required in terms of in marriage, having that role. And you guys aren't, married yet, but the time gonna come. And when that time comes, But you guys can still have an idea and a perspective, on how you feel. If you do, yeah.
Yeah, just like Christian said, provider, heavy on the protector. I feel because I feel like as a man, as if you having a whole family, you need to be the main source, not main. I don't want to say only source, but sometimes the only source of protection for your family, like in case where we living in, you never know what's gonna happen. So I feel like the protector side of man, like it's really important, and also the leader aspect for me because it's like people be saying whatever the man says goes. It's like I'm not in every situation. No, obviously he needs to consult with his wife, but at the end of the day, the man is the leader of the house, and he needs to lead his family into whatever he faces in front of them. And I feel like that is a key role that every man needs to keep. And I don't care how much society changes. I feel like that's the standard that needs to stay, for as long we stay on this God-given earth because not only was the man, born to lead, but I can't see it no other way.
So it's interesting, and Gael, we're gonna get to you in a bit, but it's interesting that you said that comment, Elise, about the man being a leader. We have in the comment section from Influential Beauty. Let's be honest, men abuse their role as being the leader of the household.
That's true. That's true. Like I said, in certain instances, the man needs to be the leader, but like I said, at the end of the day, it's
The men who do that are the ones who don't lead anywhere else. They have no power anywhere else in the world. The only place they have power is in the house. The only place they feel as if they have some kind of worth. So unfortunately, they tend to abuse that position. Unfortunately,
Yeah, for sure. Gael, let's get to you. So what is manhood from a biblical perspective?
Basically,
To you.
everything you guys said. I feel like a man should be that beam for his family. He should be a protector of loved ones, a leader of what's going on. That's pretty much it.
Sure, for sure. And so this is another question that a lot of people have asked is that do we believe and do we feel that the churches is helping us do that? Do we feel like churches today are helping men realize their role and who they are?
that depends on the culture of your church. That heavily depends. We cannot. The mistake we tend to make. We cannot ever speak on the church in general because all churches are not the same.
Mm-hmm.
The way this Haitian church is ran, the way things are taught in this church, is not how it's taught in an Asian church. It's not how it's taught in a predominantly Caucasian church. It's not how it's taught in the Southern church. It really all depends on the culture of the church. At the same time, it's not necessarily the church's role to teach a man how to be a man.
Whose role?
That comes from your father.
Sheesh.
And the problem we've hit, unfortunately, due to
I
the
was
fact that this generation has hit so many fatherlessness going on, that's when sometimes the church would need to step in. And there are times we hit a bit of a wall because now, God forbid, you go to a church in which your leaders, your pastor, isn't the most faithful man. Then what? That was the role of family. That's why family is so important. That's why fathers are important, uncles are important, those kind of things. And if those are not available, you put him in some kind of program where he can get a mentor.
Yeah.
It's the church's job. It's not the church's job.
Yeah.
The church basically supplements what's being taught at home.
Maintenance. It's maintaining.
The church's job is for our spiritual guidance in terms of our souls and everything. But of course, the church will teach on certain aspects of home life, certain things, but that's not necessarily the job of the church. That's the job of family. Your family teaches you that. Your father teaches you how to be a man, how to work hard, how to wake up in the morning, how to care, how to love your wife. You learn that from your father.
You went in, bro. I thought we were gonna do offering. All right, Gael, how do you feel about that, man?
Basically, I was gonna say I was a little hesitant to say I can't really say the church teaches you how to like really be a man for real. I just feel like it's here just to help our walk with Christ or whatever the other churches believe in. Yeah, I was just agreeing with what he said. He basically said what I wanted to say.
For sure, for sure. Lisa, how you feel?
Yeah, similar to what Guy on Gresham said. It's not the church's main priority, but I feel like to an extent, it should be said, but I feel like it should not teach men how to be men in terms of, like, children. It should teach the fathers how to,
Be a father.
yes, and the church does do that. At least the church does that in instances because it teaches your father, do this for your son, teach him this certain way because you can't really tell, like, a young man, a teenager, how to be a man, because first off, that's the father's job, and you need to allow the father to take his craft and mold his son into how he's supposed to be. So in a sense, the church, it does do that, but it doesn't do it overwhelmingly because it doesn't have to. It shouldn't.
And to your point, that is indeed biblical, because the Bible does say, fathers, not provoke your children to wrath. So there is biblical standards to the way a father is supposed to raise their child. Notice, and of course, tells kids to honor their mother and father. So yeah, like I stated, there are things that indeed the church is supposed to teach, but when we're talking about the general practical stuff,
Yeah.
it's really the family unit that does that, really.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of pressure is put on the church because it's like, yo, you gotta teach them how to be a man, you gotta teach them this and that, but it really comes from the home. It comes from the father. It comes like a lot of the principles that I've learned. My father taught me them. The church maintained it, but my father, Joseph Fitzmilford de Sibel, he's the one who I'll put the whole thing out there. He's the one that told me that. He's the one that taught me respect. He's the one who taught me look a man in the eye, shake his hand, did all that stuff. So the church maintained it, and the church further supported it. But I got that from crib. But like you said, the unfortunate thing is a lot of these homes don't have that. And so that puts a lot of pressure. It feels like it does, and it feels like it puts a lot of pressure on the church to step in and be like, "Yo, help!" Because there's not much that's going on at home. So where else can we get this? Right. So yeah, that goes right into like, does the church teach us enough? Do we believe that the church teaches us enough? And I believe we answered it, but I mean, if you guys want to reiterate your answers, that'd be fine as well. But do you guys believe the church teaches us enough in terms of practical lifestyle of being a man?
Yeah, it goes back to us. It depends. I know churches. I've heard churches, certain pastors, they preach on the importance of being a man in the home, working, providing. There are churches that do preach that. It depends on the vision of the pastor also. Every pastor's vision is not the same. There are pastors that I've listened to that are big in terms. It seems as if God has called him in terms of restoring the family unit. So if you listen to his sermons are strongly based on family. Forgive your dad. Don't think about. Do not talk to your parents. Don't talk bad about your spouse, to your parents, or to your family. Don't do that. Then your husband. He's big on family because God has called him to restore the family unit. Now, church down the block may not preach the same sermon because they don't have the same vision. So it really depends on the vision of that pastor. Hence why it's really important that you're very prayerful of under whose leadership you put yourself under. Because through the season in your life, you may not be called to go there, maybe go to somewhere else. So it really all depends.
How do you guys feel? You guys feel the same? Or?
Yeah, I feel the same. Took the words right up my mouth. It would be disrespectful to add something.
All right. Okay, got you. Gaio, I'm assuming you feel the same way too. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna read a few more comments because we're about to close out. So Influential Beauty writes, if they don't have family or any guidance, what would you recommend them to do? And finding a consistent mentor nowadays is rare. So what do we recommend them to do?
Try to build up
What
the
are
relationship
and
with
Maggie
God.
B, Magdala B says the same thing. What are some Maggie B? I'm gonna keep that Maggie B. What are some advice that you have, and are there enough godly examples? So, what is some advice that we would give? or any guidance that we would give? I want to.
Advice I didn't hear it too well.
And
Advice.
okay, what is some advice that you would give for those young men or that family, that doesn't have that father figure in that household? What's the advice that we would give to them for guidance? Like, what's the advice?
I don't got the answer for that.
Hmm?
I don't got an answer for that.
Okay. Lisa?
See, it's difficult, especially since you said, especially since like father figures in the church are very rare. All I can really say is like try your best to, I guess, seek one in the church. And I'm not going. It is difficult to find one nowadays, but I feel like your best bet is to try to see. Because I can't say go to your mother, because that's she's not able to raise you into the man. Like I'm not gonna say she can't, but it's like it's best coming from the father's standpoint. It's like
Certain things your mother can't really.
exactly.
Right.
Can't really show.
Absolutely.
And maybe if you have an uncle or another family figure, try to seek in that. But other than that, I can't really. Me personally, I don't really know, because that's a very tough situation. Not only do you not have your father figure, but you can't really find one in the church, so it's like you're stuck. Honestly, so
It is indeed difficult. That is indeed difficult. That's why I mentioned. I know I'm in a program right now, Cyber Leadership Academy. They have a cohort in which they pair the guys with mentors. So there are programs out there. We find a program that is strong with mentorship. They'll pair you with an older man who's probably 30 or 40 something odd years old, with experience, who can be there to guide them, because that's very, very important. The Bible, biblical figures had mentors. Elisha had Elijah. When Moses was doing too much, his father-in-law, bro, slow down.
Yes, sir.
So the mentorship is somewhat biblical. It's so therefore that's something you have to pray about and believe God will send. God will send. But it is important, and like you said, you may have to do some work and seek it out. If you really do want it, you'd have to seek it out, because if that kind of guidance is necessary.
Yeah,
Really
definitely.
is necessary.
Definitely, I agree, and I believe the great ones. It's hard to find them because they're doing so much for their family. They're doing so much for their church. So it's like, okay, then they gotta be a mentor on top of that. So it's a lot, and so it's like, it's a lot of pressure on him as a mentor to their mentee. You want to give everything and your all to that mentee, but it's like you're doing so much, right? And that's the mentor that they want. But it's tough. It's a very tough thing. But guys, I appreciate this opportunity for us to be here, talk about these hot topics. Gael, Lisa, Evangelist Gershom. This was a really great time. It was a great opportunity that we had to talk about these hot topics. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We hope you guys are sharing it, and share it with your friends, everybody. But listen, I want you to hear this out. In 2 weeks, we're gonna have the ladies here. Ladies are going to be in the hot seat, and you do not want to miss it. You do not want to miss it. So come tune in, subscribe, like, follow us on Instagram for more updates. 2 weeks from now, May 7th, you're not going to want to miss the ladies here in the hot seat. We hope you guys enjoyed. Check us out. Follow us once again on Instagram. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for all the great updates. Thank you guys. Have a great night. Be blessed.
Thank you.